The following video is based upon true crime content. Therefore, it may contain images and/or language that some find disturbing. For this reason, viewer discretion is advised. Hi, everyone. How are we? Good evening. I apologize for the late notice on this one. I was trying to decide when I was coming in. Hey, Route. Good to see you, man. I've been watching the inauguration all day, and I was like, I don't know, should I go on today or not? Are people watching this, or I don't know. But I've had this stuff ready to put out for you guys, so I thought, let's do it. Hey, Miss Patty, how are we? Are you cold over there? Okay, so it's supposed to get down into, like, it's 33 right now here. It's been getting into the 20s here in lower Alabama. And let me tell you guys, we might even get some snow tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Do you know how long it's been since we got snow? Hi, Cheryl. Route says, go Notre Dame. Oh, Patty's message got redacted. What'd you say, Patty? If y'all wonder. If we wonder what? What are we wondering? See, if you're like me, let me tell you something about the messages that get retracted on YouTube. Even mine get retracted. So if anybody's message ever gets taken out after you typed it and try to put it up, don't feel like you're being targeted. The YouTube police do it to everybody, even the content creators. If y'all wonder where the North Pole is, it's in Michigan now. Oh, bless your heart, honey. Goodness gracious. Cheryl says, my daughter lives on the sidelines of Alabama and Atlanta, so she's riding between there. Oof. It's like unbearable for me. All right, let's get to it. I know everybody hates the small talk. All right, here's the deal. So when we last left off in following the Courtney Clenney trial, or pre-trial, so to speak, we got into the judge saying, okay, I've looked at everything. I'm going to look at everything, and then we're going to come back in so many days, and I'm going to tell you guys whether or not she's going to get bail. Now, we know she doesn't get bail. I mean, hello, this happened 2 years ago, right? But what we're going to do is watch that portion of where they came in, and she found that out because she found out before the judge even said it out loud in court. So I thought this would be worth a watch. So let's get to it.
Given corrections representation on the record,
I guess she truly thought she was going to end up getting out on bail. He's telling her it's not good. She's like, what? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Huh? I don't have a nigger problem. What are you talking about? You're calmly explaining to her what's going on so she doesn't freak out in court.
7 cases. The state will be dismissing one of them. That will be F21-21328. And then as to
if I sound a little nasally here tonight, it's because I've turned the heaters on and I've been sneezing my nose off.
27.45 months. to an excess of 35 years in
Yeah,
state
I'm not
prison.
leaving the house right now.
And
My
the
sister's
state's
like, you want to come up for dinner? I'm like, I'm not leaving the house.
2
It's
years
too
state
cold.
prison, followed by 3 years reporting probation, special conditions of an anti-theft course, restitution in a grand total
I got some good
amount
stuff for you guys
of
tonight, though. Got some more
$6,128.95
audio files.
at no less than
We're going to listen to
$175
some
a
stuff
month,
about, hey, Bob Kitten.
as well as stay-away orders on all
We're going to listen to
cases.
some stuff about what the Obamseli
There's a
family
little
is
cheat sheet for
doing
the
as far as
restitution and
the
stay-away
civil suit.
orders.
It's been out for a long time, but I want to listen into
Additionally, as
what
to
Law and Crime had said about it.
F224990B as in Bravo and F229749, she will be sentenced as a habitual offender.
Gave you.
Correct.
Is your internet frozen?
Ms. Castro just has informed me that she wants to make an additional counteroffer to the state, 18 months followed by 4 years including probation.
That's rejected.
Hey, James.
I have the cheat sheet. These are the restitution amounts, and the stay-away orders would be the same. And as well
What do you guys think?
I'm getting the information ready.
I mean, this is like literally she's finding out she's stuck in there until trial. And remember, she doesn't have a trial date yet either. Still to this day, she doesn't have one. Hey, Sean. Good to see you.
Can't find it.
Hi, Amy. Who gave you the membership? It was probably either Route or Barbara. Where's Cookie? I don't know, Route. Okay, so Cookie, I emailed him the other day because he had emailed me when when the spam thing kicked in. He emailed me like, really? He was like, really? Because I don't know if he thought that was a live that I put together or not.
Enhancement on the 4990.
And I emailed him back. I'm like, dude, I got hacked.
On the 9749.
And I haven't heard back from him.
Yes, sir. She was actually enhanced as a on the case that the state is dismissing, so these are actually less severe enhancements.
And I can have this printed and filed in court.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe so, Judge. I hope I didn't miss one.
It's kicking in. Like she's like, oh my God, I could be in here for a long time. Then is what you're saying? Oh yeah, you could. You could, Courtney. You could be in there for the rest of your life. Do you guys think she'll get life? If you were gonna sentence her, if found guilty and you sentence her, is it life? Or do you look at all of the considerations and go, it wasn't premeditated? I don't feel like it was premeditated. I think she has anger issues and she just doesn't know how to control her anger. And she was on drugs and she was drinking. I mean, there's no question of whether or not she was the one that did it, right? Sean says life. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's similar to her case of somebody that got out and we all flipped out over it after they got out. I mean, I think Casey Anthony's a little bit too different to compare it to because that was a child, but Lorena Bobbitt, that was premeditated. She's not a Sarah Boone. No, I think Sarah Boone is hateful. She's just hateful. Courtney only gets hateful when she's drinking. I think she has a problem. I think she's a nasty drunk. Because in some of the stuff that she said in the text messages, which we are going to get to eventually, she was so apologetic to him. Like when she was sober, she realizes she did when she was drunk, you know? But that also is the way that abusers treat their abused. So I don't know. I'm torn over it. This is why I'm so glad I'm not on the jury. Hattie thinks that she doesn't think she'll get life. If anything, it will be maybe 30 years. Hey, Dread. Yes, Jane, you are correct. Dread, if you're just coming in, we're trying to figure out how, if convicted, how many years Courtney would be sentenced to. Cat in the pantry, welcome in. Cat said, heat of the moment, under the influence type case. Yeah, I mean, it's it's still wrong. But if I was gonna throw a reason on it, that would be the reason. I would go towards that more than I would say he was abusive. But we are going to listen to some interesting stuff tonight that may make us wonder about if he ever hit, what do you call it? If he ever hit the road with her, like he ever hit it, he got to his point to where he was not taking it anymore. Tracy said the fact that she had done it once before is going to get her life. That's a very good point, Tracy. Very good point. Oh, Dread says, pretty white girl, no criminal background, no more than 25 max. Do you think it helps that it's a woman judge? She thinks, yeah, she thinks that, I wonder if she thinks that they're just going to send her to a rehab for a really long time. Is being on drugs an excuse? Good question. You know, we were talking about this in that Marcella Chidester case. There's no excuse for drinking. Like, if you're under the influence, it doesn't make what you did okay. What was that? Or was that Sarah's case we talked about that?
For sentences can run concurrent and coterminous. I've had already asked the state that, and they had.
Could they be coterminous? Not this early on. I don't think so, Jane. I don't think there's even a plea. I mean, they don't even. They say flat out later on here that they're not even ready to proceed at this point. Neither one of them, the prosecution or the defense, and this was 2 years ago. She's charged with second degree, but they can go with manslaughter or instead. Okay, yeah, instead. But what about a lesser sentence? That would be a lesser sentence. That's true, but they were going after second degree, and her lawyer is trying to get it down to manslaughter, but I don't think that's going to happen. It might. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, Sean. Bob Kitten says no, I don't think she'll get life. But, okay, I see what you're saying. Can the jury choose manslaughter? I don't think they're going to give them that option. I don't know. That'll be interesting. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Even today, I don't even think they're at that place where we know yet, right? This has been going on for so long. Because after this, y'all, we're going to have to get into the whole her parents getting arrested and everything. We got a lot to do with this case before we get caught up. Hey, Tracy, you think she's going to be bunkmates with Sarah Boone? I wonder if they would put two controversial people like that in the same area. They are going to be in the same place, I bet. I could see where she would be mentored by Sarah. I think she's impressionable. Hey, Auditing Mississippi, good to see you.
The state is not aware of that.
Somebody's stamping guilty on all that paperwork. I have no idea what they're telling her right now. Just explaining to her how it works and what happens next and what we're going to try for next, and I don't know. It has been a long time. Where you been? Oh yeah, where's the parents charged? Well, the parents were charged having to do with the trying to get into the computer, but those are all dropped, so there's no charges there anymore. Did I get your email? I don't. I get so many emails. I don't know. And y'all's names are different than y'all's. Your names on your emails are different than your channel things. So sometimes I don't even know who I'm hearing from. Yeah, the defense was really hoping that the parents being charged and her also getting additional charges for the whole computer thing was going to really throw an uproar into all of this. It didn't pan out like they said it would. They basically said they wanted the prosecutors that are on the case, they wanted them replaced. Judge was like, no. I think I remember you're going auditing. I think I remember you told me you're going through some stuff. You got some stuff going on your own. I think I remember. Yeah, I remember your email. I'm sorry. That's right. I apologize.
Judge, if he's disputing the cocaine case, I have another case I can rely on. That would be F-18.
It's a really quick hearing, though, you guys.
Where this defendant was convicted of 1 count of burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, as well as 1 count of grand theft. Both felonies in the 3rd degree, and on April 16th, 2019, she was also sentenced to 366 days in state prison.
And once again, we can't hear the judge talking, so I'm gonna turn it up for us when we get to that point. It's coming up next. Hey, it's personal to me. Met you by being a part of the 9611 Brooks College videos. Glad I caught you live. Oh, well, hey, welcome back in. You know I'm still here. You know I still have a channel. Hello. I don't just do Brooks.
Yes, that's the case.
You can come and visit anytime you want. I need viewers, girl. What she looks like now compared with her online look.
The grand sum of the restitution, I'll break them down by case.
Yeah.
In F2120812, it's
Just goes to show you.
F2121239, it's $150. F2121240, $500. F21
She
$1,400.
I would think she's gaining weight. I would think that a lot of that muscle could easily turn to fat. You ever notice how bodybuilders get really chunky looking later in life? It's because when they stop working out, all that muscle turns to fat. So she's probably struggling to keep the exercises and do the types of workouts that she was doing before and keeping her body intact or whatever. I'm sure she does that. What else is she going to do while she's in there? This is the OnlyFans model who unalived her boyfriend.
So I'm going to go back to Ms. Clenney's case, if you would want to
I turned up the audio. I hope it helped.
Yes, Your Honor. Kathleen Held on behalf of the state of Florida. And Mr. Sean Abenhoff had to be in another courtroom on a different sentencing matter, but he is also a member of our team.
And good morning, Khalil. On behalf of the state of Florida.
Yes, good morning, Judge. Frank Red on behalf of Courtney Clenney, F22-14137.
It's a range of easy.
Judge Larry Hanford on behalf of the Southern family was present before the court.
I
that there are a lot of folks that are subject to this case. I issued an order, and it is in writing, and I provided a copy to the state defense earlier today. I'm going to go ahead and provide you with those written copies as well. I have a copy of the order report. The order does deny the permissive release, is granting state motion for pretrial release, denying the defense's motion for non-bond Parker. I've outlined all the reasons in my written order. I think the judge provided an excellent job of arguing the case, but at this time we're going to go and get a sounding charges.
And Judge, Your Honor said order the state's motion for pretrial release is pretrial detention. I'm sorry. Thank you.
It's on for sounding. It's on for sounding today, yes.
Judge, I apologize for running late this morning. I was informed the court I was stuck in federal court. I did have a brief moment to review Your Honor's order. I just wanted to point out, I think on page 4 of Your Honor's ruling, you indicated that the defendant had ample means to leave the jurisdiction. However, I think that was negated by the bank record from the testimony of Mr. Clenney. The court indicated she had millions of dollars at her disposal and the ability to make money outside the jurisdiction, but the testimony was that her contract had been canceled, she's not working, and all those monies were used for attorney's fees, the home purchase, and she basically is bereft of any kind of funds that would allow her to survive outside of the jurisdiction. And the issue, all those cases that Your Honor cited that she did not comport with orders of release for the Las Vegas misdemeanor, all these cases were dismissed. And we know, at least in this jurisdiction, it's commonplace that if an offender picks up a new charge, called no bond, and if that charge is no action or dismissed, generally there's a return to the previous bond conditions. We're just wanted to point out some of the issues that we're having. We'll consult together as co-counsel and decide where we go from here, but obviously we, for the record, will object to Your Honor's ruling and see where we go from here.
The only thing I also wanted to point out was Your Honor stated that you didn't feel comfortable having her released on house arrest to her parents in Texas. There is a potential alternative that we did look into. There is an inpatient treatment program in Boca. It's called Kerry Mental Health. We've spoken with the administrator there. It is a 10-bed, 60-day inpatient program. They often work with courts on release conditions. She could be released on home confinement there with electronic monitoring, ensuring that she stays in this jurisdiction nearby. She's monitored by the Miami-Dade Community Corrections Department on home confinement and would, I think, hopefully alleviate some of the court's concerns. So I don't have the program here today to be able to speak to you, but I could arrange another date where we bring in the administrator to answer any questions or concerns the court has. But like I said, we did speak to them and they did say they were willing to accept her into the program.
Judge, I don't believe it requires response. There are no conditions that will ensure her presence and the safety of the community, and we disagree with any release to any inpatient treatment.
I don't think that any form of house arrest release, particularly in inpatient facility, is going to alleviate my own concerns about her ability to leave the jurisdiction. Whether it's millions or whether it's simply substantial funds that have not been liquidated, they do think that she's going to have to make this complete. So I understand what your concerns are. You can absolutely feel free to file any subsequent legal filings that you want to file with this kind of
I believe we have sounding today.
Sounding today, so obviously I don't think everybody is ready. So would you like to just get a new sounding filings?
I think that would be best, Your Honor, at least to give us a starting point.
All right. Then are both sides announcing not ready?
The state is not ready, Judge.
Defense? Are you ready to file?
Judge, we're not.
We're going to go ahead and give it, if you want to continue, I'm going to give it a new sounding trial dates. Actually, I'm just going to give it a status date in 60 days. I'm going to take it off the sounding trial calendar. You guys let me know what you'd like to do with it, but right now we'll just keep it in regular course of 60 days status.
2-6.
2-6 status. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the next lawyer for the next
Judge, just on behalf of the Umberselli family, just wanted to thank the court for its consideration and the time that you've given both sides in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. We know that there is support on both sides.
Yes.
We know that there is support on both sides.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. Anything further from anybody here? Is there anything further from anybody who's not related to this?
Cheryl said she looks like a runner and her parents will hide her out for sure. You know what? Do you guys remember that kid? Now these people were complete crooks, but do you remember the kid that hid the bus or the truck full of the kids and the family that were going to the church function? And several people were unalived. Let me put the mute on this. And after that occurred, the parents helped him, I guess, get a new identity and get him out of the country because they had a lot of money. Do y'all remember that case? I don't remember the name of the case. I should do a thing on that one. That case has always ticked me off. It was a young kid, spoiled brat, and the parents did so much to hide his crimes. It was crazy. Jane says at the crime scene, Courtney is covered in red body fluid, and her boyfriend is taking his last breath, and she asked for the first responders, "Are you married?" Okay, yes, she said, "Are you married?" But you know why she said that, right? Because she was trying to explain to him how this is her in her mind. I'm not making excuses for her. I'm just saying this is what way I figure it. She was trying to say, you don't understand how close we are. You don't understand what this is like for me. Are you married? Do you understand what it's like to have a partner that's being taken? So she was comparing their relationship to a married couple. Just want to put that out there because, Jane, I don't think you're the first person that's made a comment about that. But I just don't want that to go too far because I really don't think she wasn't hitting on him for sure, right? Hey, Edna. All right. Is everybody caught up so far? We're good. We're in here. We're good. JPC, good to see you. Okay. Why is she always crying? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Shaking my head. Oh, yeah. It's funny. You know, she's one of those that all of a sudden she becomes an angel. It's like, I didn't mean to, you know. She's not the tough person she makes herself out to be. All right, here we're going to watch some portions of the press conference, and then we're going to get into. I got a surprise for you guys. We get to hear Mommy's phone call with the detective shortly after the crime. He calls her. Let me start over. Okay. So shortly after the occurrence, the lead detective calls Courtney Clenney's mother because he finds out she was on the phone with Clenney. And she wants to find out what was being said, what the mom knew. So that video or that audio is going to be included. All right.
Every act of violence in a relationship is always an act of domestic violence. Those words, domestic violence, should have a decidedly ugly feel to them. Domestic violence is something I and our entire Miami-Dade community has worked hard to end. Understand the pain and the tragedy that domestic violence has always produced for the direct victims and for the indirect victims, such as children. That is why I am proud to have originally created Florida's first felony domestic violence unit and have developed the basic prosecutorial approach aimed at combating domestic violence that is now used by prosecutors throughout Florida. Pain created by domestic violence is stunningly apparent when it leads to a tragic death of one of the partners. Violence brings us directly to the reason we are here today, which is the killing of Christian Ombumseli on April 3rd, 2022. He died in Unit 2201 of a residence located at 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue in the city of Miami. We are charging 26-year-old Courtney Taylor Clenney with 1 count of second-degree murder in Christian's death. She has been taken into custody in Hawaii. She has not yet been brought to court for a hearing, but when she does go for a hearing, she will at that time have the option to either waive or contest extradition. It is our understanding that her lawyers have stated that she will waive extradition. In the meantime, my extradition division has been working with the Hawaiian authorities, the U.S. Marshals, and the Miami-Dade Police Department to ensure a smooth process if she does decide to waive. If she contests extradition, the law requires her to be held in Hawaii with no bond, and my office would then seek an arrest warrant from the governor's office to bring her back. At this time, all the necessary steps are being taken as we speak for her return to Miami to be held accountable for this murder. With me today are the City of Miami Police Chief, Manny Morales, who all of us know does excellent work for our City of Miami, his Assistant City of Miami Police Chief, Armando Aguilar, to his left. I want to thank both of them and their department for the professional diligence that they exhibited in this case and for the partnership that we share. We have Gaddy Serralta, who is the U.S. Marshal of the Southern District of Florida. You all know he stood here many times by the side of those of us in law enforcement. He's always an extraordinary partner with all of us in law enforcement, who, by the way, in this case, overcame a number of challenges to secure this arrest. Marshal Serralta, well, he's right behind me. Gaddy Serralta played a pivotal role in connecting our law enforcement officers with the West Coast U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force to ensure that Courtney Clenney, who was over 4,700 miles away from Miami, will be able to stand before a judge here in Miami and face these charges. I'm very proud of Assistant State Attorney Khalil Queenan, who's right here, this young man in the blue suit, who is also a member of our Gun Violence Initiative. He is on this case, has been from the beginning. Thank you very much, Khalil, for your diligent work. And to his left is a very wonderful veteran homicide prosecutor, she's my Chief Assistant State Attorney, Kathleen Ho. Thank you very much. They have been heading up this investigation, and they will handle this case in the courts from this point forward. To my right, we have the very distinguished attorney, Larry Hanfield, who is the attorney for the family of Christian Ombumseli. And he has brought with him his clients, Christian's brother, Jeffrey Ombumseli, to his right, and his cousin, Karen Ebuna, who is the beautiful woman standing to their right. They're all here today to, all of us in law enforcement, want to express to you, as family members, our deepest sympathies for this tragic murder of your loved one. I also would like to thank and express my gratitude to the law enforcement community in Hawaii for their assistance in this matter, specifically the Hawaiian County Police Department and the Hawaiian County Prosecutor's Office. So let's talk about this case. The Chief Medical Examiner of Miami-Dade County determined that Christian's cause of death was a stab to the chest. Christian was stabbed as the knife punctured the subclavian artery in his right chest. If you look over here for just a second to either one of these screens, you will get a good idea of how large that subclavian artery is within the human heart. The chief medical examiner further determined that the knife entered Christian's chest in a downward angle to the depth of 3 inches. In other words, the medical examiner has indicated that the fatal knife wound which entered Christian's chest was the result of a forceful downward thrust penetrating 3 inches into that artery you just saw. You'll see there on those screens on either side how deep that 3 inches is. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it was certainly enough to kill him. This homicide has gained some notoriety since the defendant, Clenney, is an internet social media personality and influencer under the name of Courtney Taylor. Evidence gathered during the investigation of Christian's death showed that since November of 2020, he and the defendant, Clenney, had been involved in an extremely tempestuous and combative relationship. As an example, it was learned that the security and building staff at the Miami apartment documented many incidents of loud arguments between the couple after they moved into the building in January 2022. Tenants as far as 2 floors above, in an apartment 2 floors above, were making complaints to security and building management about the noises and the ruckus. This problem had, in fact, had the building management moving toward evicting the couple from the building because of these many noise complaints.
Okay. Remember earlier we were saying we weren't sure if she was being evicted because she didn't pay rent. Like, one of the security guards had said she was being evicted because she did not pay rent. That's BS. Here is the actual notice that was up on the door. Couple of notices I found. Couple of things I noticed when I saw this was, number one, we have our landlord right there, Alaros Capital Investments. I wonder if they're going to be named in any lawsuits by the family or anything. That was one of the first things I thought of. This was issued on March the 29th, and it looks like they had 7 days to get out. It basically says you're hereby notified that you have violated the lease due to the following. You and your guest have been a nuisance to the community due to over 10 incidents of screaming and yelling, violence both in common areas and in your unit, which has disrupted the quiet enjoyment of other residents of the building. This demand is for you to, and I gotta go scroll down below here. It basically says below, hang on, let me pull it up another thing. You have to basically get out within 7 days. And oh, by the way, hang on, let me find the other picture, because I do want to tell you guys what this says, because at first when I read this, I was like, oh, okay, but it's not that bad, but it is. Because it says that you have committed the same non-compliance within a 12-month period, and upon receiving this notice, your lease shall be deemed terminated. You are required to vacate the premise within 7 days of receipt of this notice and pay the outstanding rent. Okay, when I heard that, at first I was like, oh, okay, so she was late. No. You know what I'm thinking that means? She has to go back and pay 12 months rent, even though she's not going to be there for 12, because that's what I'm thinking. She lost her rights because of the reason that she got kicked out. Her lease price said, if you screw up, you're still got to pay us 12 months rent. I bet you money. So anyway, that was just something I wanted to bring to y'all's attention. I don't know what the case is on that, but remember we were talking about how dad made the comment that he had to pay for attorneys when he got ready to move her out of Miami, out of that apartment. That was probably why he needed attorneys for the landlord. Okay, back to everything.
From the apartment elevator building, you will see that on February 21st, 2022 incident, a month after the couple moved into the building. So let's play that video if we could now. If you look at either screen, you will now see the video entering their apartment. You can see, you will draw your own conclusion, but it certainly appears that the defendant was aggressively attacking Christian. Such interactions appear to have caused Clenney and Christian to separate at various times in their relationship, including the last week of March 2022, when Clenney expelled Christian from the apartment. This occurred while Clenney's mother, Deborah Clenney, who was in town and staying in the apartment. Defendant Clenney and Christian then rekindled their relationship on Friday, April 1st, 2022, after her mother left to go home to Texas. At that time, Christian moved back into the apartment. Arguments began almost immediately, with police responding to the apartment. Police reported that Clenney appeared intoxicated when she was contacted on the evening of April 1st, 2022. This was 2 days before the homicide. On Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, the day of Christian's death, events started peacefully, with the couple filming themselves with their dogs in the apartment. A key fob for the records showed that Christian left the apartment at 1:15 p.m. and returned about 3 hours later at 4:32 p.m. with sandwiches that he had bought for both of them. So what we've done here now, if you look at the screens, you'll see there a timeline. While you look at it, I'm going to try to go through it because the timing is very important to understand in this case. So at 4:01, Clenney called Christian. Then she goes live on Instagram. And then at 4:33 p.m., she called him again, shortly after posting the video. At 4:33 p.m., Christian walks into the apartment. 10 minutes later, at 4:43 p.m.
One thing I wanted to note, you guys, was that if you'll notice here in this picture to the left, his phone is the one with the red case. We're going to see that in the crime scene pictures we're going to look at probably tomorrow.
Clenney called her mother. That call lasted till about 4:49 p.m., just over 6 minutes. At 4:49, Clenney made a second call, almost immediately, to her mother. They spoke until 4:56 p.m., a little over 7 minutes. I think at 4:57 p.m., Clenney calls 911. At 4:57, police officers exit the elevator at the unit. Christian stabbing must have occurred between 4:33 p.m., when he returned to the apartment with those sandwiches, and at 4:57 p.m., when the defendant, Clenney, called 911. Also, at the same time during that period of time, that being 4:33 p.m. to 4:57 p.m., neighbors began calling the building manager about a disturbance at the apartment. Security called 911 at 4:46, notifying them of the disturbance. 11 minutes later, at 4:57.
Okay, let's listen to that disturbance really quick. I've got that for you because you can hear it in the surveillance audio.
Defendant Clenney called 911 to tell the police that Christian was suffering from a stab wound and needed help. On that 911 call, Christian can be heard in the background repeatedly saying that he was dying.
One operator dial. What is the address of your emergency? City man, please.
3101. It's 130, so 130.
Ma'am, listen to me. You need to stop screaming on the line and give me the address.
3101.
I'm gonna die. I can't feel my arm.
3101.
I can't feel my arm.
Ma'am,
my boyfriend is dying of a stab.
Ma'am, what is the address?
What's that? What's the address?
3131.
3131 Northeast 7th Ave. Please, God, please. Come see my boyfriend.
Ma'am, is this a house apartment or a business?
512-745-2582.
Is this a house apartment or a business?
Baby, I'm so sorry. Baby.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Give me eyes.
If you have a stab wound to his shoulder, can you sit down?
What do you mean he has a stab wound on his shoulder, ma'am?
Yes, he's bleeding from his shoulder.
Rescue, this is PD position 2, the caller. Ma'am, hold on one moment. The caller advised the address is 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue, 31 Northeast 7th Avenue. The phone number is verified. The caller advised that her boyfriend has a stab wound. Okay, is this a house, apartment, or a business?
Stop. Please, God, please, stop. Please, God,
Listen, ma'am. Listen, I'm sending help. I need you to tell me exactly what happened. I'm sending help. How old is he? Ma'am, how old is he? Is he awake? Hello? Hello? PD, are you still on the line? Yes, we're still on the line. She didn't provide a room number or anything. No, did she tell you where he was stabbed at? She said he was stabbed on his shoulder. Okay. Do you know if he had more than one wound? No, she didn't say. She just kept screaming on the line saying that he was dying and that he needed help, and she kept apologizing. But we do have a call at that same address in reference to a fight that happened. The room number could possibly be 2201 because we already have a call that 2 people are fighting inside of that room. So they're possibly related. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give her a call back, but we do have rescue on the way, okay? Okay, thank you. Is PD responding on the 3? Yes, we're responding on the 3. Alrighty, thank you. You're welcome.
And he was losing feeling in his arm. Defendant Clenney is also heard saying, "I'm so sorry, baby." In her telephone statement to the police on the date of the incident, Clenney's mother stated she heard her daughter yelling at Christian, remember she's on the phone with her, telling him to leave the apartment, and she heard Defendant Clenney saying that Christian was lying.
Let's see, it looks like she called me at first at 3:43, and we talked till about 2 different phone calls, talked till about 3:56. That's what it looks like, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. And what was she telling you when she called you?
She was telling me that he was not leaving, that she kept, I heard her saying, "You lied, just get out, just go away." I'd actually been out there for 6 days trying to get rid of him.
What was it that she said that you lied? What?
She was saying you're lying, and he was saying I'm not lying. But I really don't know what the whole thing was about. I didn't know he was there. I thought he was gone. I had been there for 6 days. When I got there, he left, but he didn't actually leave. He kept hanging around the apartments. Evidently somebody in the apartment complex was letting him like hang around, take showers downstairs, sleep in the cabanas. I told him to go, and he was supposed to go get a hotel or something, and he said he was going to get a hotel, but apparently he did not. He just hung around that whole 6 days. I guess he was waiting for me to leave so he could come back.
Later, in her what we call post-Miranda recorded statement to the police, defendant Clenney admitted to having caused Christian's injury, also provided several inconsistent accounts about the incident itself. After an argument, defendant Clenney claims and says that Christian shoved her against the wall by the neck, and although he did not actually choke her, then she says he threw her to the ground but allowed her to get up. And it was at that point that defendant Clenney went to a kitchen area and got the knife. As Christian sort of approached her, she threw the knife at him from a distance that she's estimated to be about 10 feet. The police observed no visible injuries, which would have corroborated her account, and she had no injuries. In describing the stabbing incident, at no time did defendant Clenney claim Christian was armed with any type of a weapon. And based on the location of the stab of the wound, the medical examiner opined, in other words, it was her opinion, that throwing the knife from that distance would not have caused that fatal stab wound, but rather that it was a downward strike with a knife could have only caused that fatal stab to the artery that led to the Christian's bleeding to death. The violent and toxic 2-year relationship of Christian Obumseli and Courtney Clenney did not have to end in tragedy with Christian's murder as a victim of domestic violence. Personal relationships should never involve domestic violence. And make no mistake about it, domestic violence is a crime no one should tolerate. Men are often, unfortunately, unwilling to come forward as victims of domestic violence, or of intimate violence, as it's sometimes called. The sequence of domestic violence events can be broken, but it takes a first step. That first step needs to be taken. If anyone is caught in a domestic, dangerous, violent situation, please know that there's a strong, huge safety net of resources and shelters in this community that are available. If you are, of course, in an emergency situation, you've got to call 911, but you can also call your state attorney's domestic violence resource line. It's available 24/7, days a week at 305-547-0140. We can and we want to help. If you're in need of shelter or services, you can call Miami-Dade County Coordinated Victims Assistance Center helpline for assistance at 305-285-5900. And you'll see up on their screens, there is a QR code. Any one of you can just, that's watching this, you can just put your phone with the camera app right on that QR code. It will immediately go into a domestic violence resource line for you. So at this time, I'm going to ask our distinguished Chief of Police, Manny Morales, to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam State Attorney. Good afternoon, everyone. This was an extremely difficult investigation, an extremely challenging situation to be in. I want to first give my condolences publicly to the Umsali family. And I know it's kind of tough pill to swallow when it takes us length time to try to bring justice, at least to this chapter of what is going to be a long saga. However, I do have to give credit to the men and women from the homicide unit that diligently worked the case. And I want to remind everybody out there, right? that whether it's domestic or any other type of violence, the Miami Police Department will not stand by on the sidelines. The Miami Police Department will come to the aid of the victims and do everything within our power to get justice for them. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our partners at the U.S. Marshal Service that brought the defendant into justice. And we'll be here to support every step of the prosecution, and with capable personnel from the State Attorney's Office, we're looking forward to a successful prosecution in this case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. And at this time, we'd ask Larry Hanfield to please say a few words on behalf of the family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Ambaselli family, Jeffrey and Karen, who flew in from Dallas and Houston, Texas, respectively, this is a day that they only hoped for. It's very, very sad, and they are dealing with the pain as we speak. But I want to personally thank the State Attorney's Office, Kathy Fernandez-Rundle, who is a tremendous treasure to this town, for once again showing the type of leadership for every citizen for Miami-Dade County, and the leadership of the City of Miami Police Department for their commitment to bringing this day into reality, as well as the U.S. Marshal's Office for bringing to justice the arrest of the defendant. We always believed that with a thorough and fair investigation that this day would come into reality. This is such a relief for the family, but it gives restored hope that even though delayed, justice will still come. On behalf of Cedric Johnson, who's part of my investigative team, Kathleen Hogue, Chief Assistant State Attorney, and Kalia, we are very indebted to the commitment, the hard work that was done by your staff for making this day of justice a reality, and a commitment to all the citizens to Miami-Dade County. The family will not be entertaining any questions. If you have any concerns, you can direct those questions to me. But on behalf of the family, I truly want to say thank you for bringing hope and seeing that justice was done. And that's all anyone can ever ask for and expect. And thank you so much, Kathy, for doing what you've always done.
I think that's his cousin, the female standing next to his brother. Him and his brother almost look like twins. I don't think they were, though. I wanted to remind everybody, there's a couple of hearings going on this week on all these cases that we've been following. So I don't know. We might do some lives during the day, maybe starting tomorrow. I'll see what's happening there. Barbara said, I wonder if any of the, we're not done, by the way. I've got some stuff from the Obumseli family that I want to play. Barbara said the men from OnlyFans probably want a refund. Now, you know what I was thinking? I think I said this on a previous live, Barbara, that I wonder if her OnlyFans guys are actually sending her money in jail now. Maybe they feel like they can rescue her and, get more attention from her. I don't know. Bama says that Courtney Clenney needs an anger management. Yes, she does. There's definitely some issues there. Patrick said that she got frustrated to the point of madness because she couldn't control him. And you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it was. Thank you, Patty. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. All right. So the next piece we're going to look at is where they start talking about the civil suit that's going on with the Obumseli family. And I had previously said, I want to correct myself, because I had previously said that I thought that the security company was the same as First Service Residential. Like they they were actually a part of First Service Residential's management team. They are not. It's universal. And I'm familiar with these guys because I don't know if I ever told you guys, when I was over in marketing in Florida, I worked with First Service Residential and with Universal. And First Service Residential is a property management company for condominium associations that have on-site management teams. Like they literally have on-site employees that stay on site 24/7. A team of employees that stay there 24/7. So let's go to this piece now.
Criminal trial, the victim's family is also taking things to civil court. They've already filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Clenney, the couple's apartment complex, and their security. But in an amended complaint filed last week, the family accused guards of failing to intervene during the deadly attack as they allegedly stood outside the couple's unit for 12 minutes. According to the lawsuit, apartment staff were very well aware of problems between Clenney and the victim, and they also say Obumseli would have survived if they had taken immediate action. Terry, I'll start with you. Any viability to this lawsuit that the guards were somehow at fault?
Well, it's not going to be dismissed by motion. I think it's going to go forward, but it all depends on the circumstances, whether or not they had reason to believe that something was going on at the time they were standing outside that door. Now,
Okay, I really want to talk about this because this is something that, you could sue anybody for anything. You don't have to have any justification to do a lawsuit, okay? It doesn't mean the lawsuit's going to go through. But I just feel like the security company, they had a right to protect the residents. But when it's happening inside your own unit, your door is shut, your door is locked, there has to be some kind of something in their contracts that says we're not going to go into your unit unless something major is happening, or you let us in. We're not going to come into your unit without your approval, something like that. Y'all know what I'm saying? Do you understand? Are y'all with me on this? I'm just wondering what y'all's thought is on that. Like, do you feel like if you lived in a condominium association or a big condo, whether you're renting or you owned your unit, and there was a security firm on site, do you feel like that security firm should break into your unit if something was going on? I mean, they knew that most of the stuff that was going on because of the history of what had happened. Obviously, we saw in that last notice of eviction that there had been at least 10 incidents reported prior. So if that's the case, they knew that they were fighting between each other. He was considered a resident in the state of Florida. Legally, he was a resident there. So are they allowed to intervene in something like that? Patty says if they thought there was a threat of life, then yes, she thinks so. I would just be interested, and I'm sure in court we'll hear this, maybe during the civil thing, what all of their different stuff states as far as like what were they allowed to do, what kind of authority did they have, because you also have the right to privacy. But in the same time, we've heard over and over in this case that you lose your right to privacy when everybody in the damn building can hear you, right? So yeah, I think that civil case is going to be interesting just to see how it plays out.
Now, they do have some duty. I agree with that. But was it breached? It would have been breached if they were told there's violence going on. If they were just walking around and looking and making sure the premises were secure and they stopped because there had been other arguments there, I don't know if you could say they breached their duty of security there. And I don't know if you could say the resulting harm was because of what they did. I'm not sure they would have been able to stop it.
Well, talking about it matters, I guess, what they saw and what they heard and what was happening. You heard the comparison there with Scott Peterson, the school resource officer at Parkland. How do you compare it?
I think it's
There's no
difficult to compare
comparison.
because with Scott Peterson, he had a great argument of, I didn't know where the danger was. The echoes, the size of the place. But here, by all accounts, they're standing outside the door for 12 minutes. Now, I hear what Terry's saying, but I don't know many security guards who stand outside of one location for 12 minutes. That, to me, at least suggests that there's a reason for you to be there. And if they're not acting upon that reason, I think there's a claim there. But I think the claim is not necessarily against the security guards. It's against the people that employ the security guards, because you go after the bigger pockets. It might not necessarily be the security guards. You want to go after improper training, negligent hiring, something to that effect.
Well, I think the family's upset and angry, and they want justice for what happened here. I guess the question is does it matter what the security guards were told about their employment? Like, you can't interfere with, tenants and if they're having disputes. Does that matter what their employment agreements is or their employment understanding?
Absolutely. All of that matters. What the policies were, what they were told to do, their training matters, and all of those records will come into trial. So I definitely think the jury is going to be considering that. If they were told, look, when you get a call, make sure you knock on the door, make sure you go in, make sure you listen for anything happening, and they fail to do that, then there could be some ramifications as far as that's concerned.
And I also, another point here is, were these the type of security officers that carried guns? I don't know if they were, but I think that will make a difference in this civil suit as well, because that will also put them on a different level of security, in my opinion.
But if they were told, look, when you get a call, just make sure you look through and walk around and, you don't have to go inside. You don't have to knock on the door. That's very different.
All right.
This has absolutely devastated Toby's entire family. His parents, his siblings, his cousins, his aunts, his uncles. I mean, this has just thrown a wrench into their entire lives.
The parents of Christian Toby Abamseli have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Courtney Clenney, the owners of the condominium complex where they lived, and the security company that provided security there. You may recall Clenney was charged last year with second-degree murder for stabbing Abamseli to death in their Florida condo in April of 2022. She claims that she acted in self-defense. The suit claims negligence on the part of First Service Residential, the One Paraiso Condominium Association, and Universal Security Services for failing to provide a safe environment and not properly training employees. Kim Wald represents Toby Abamseli's parents in the suit.
If you own a piece of property, if you run a piece of property, if you run a business in Florida, you have duties that come along with that obligation of running a business. And in this context, if you are a property owner and you know that crime is reasonably foreseeable on your property. And in this case, we have multiple instances, not only of criminal activity in general, but specific criminal activity between Ms. Clenney and Toby. If you know that you have this violent criminal on your property, you know that you have all of these horrible things happening on your property, you have a duty to protect your residents, including Toby. And unfortunately, we did not see that in this case. We know that the property management company, we know the security company was on 100% notice of this toxic, volatile relationship and did absolutely nothing to protect Toby.
The suit is seeking a minimum of $50,000 in damages.
We know that Ms. Clenney does have assets. Do we anticipate that she'll attempt to hide or move around those assets, that they're not available to the family? Unfortunately, we do think that that's going to be a reality, but we know she has assets and she obviously is accountable for these actions as well. And we will be doing whatever we can to recover those assets on behalf of the family because of this horrible thing that she did to Toby.
So what if she is successful and is found not guilty of that second-degree murder charge at trial?
Now, see, I think that doesn't matter, because look at the OJ case. Even in the OJ case, when he was found not guilty, they still got him on the civil lawsuit.
And it's a really unfortunate reality that when you see a toxic relationship between a man and a woman, you assume that the woman is the victim. But here, if you look at those videos, if you look at the reality, the facts and the evidence are 100% on our side. She was not the victim. She was the aggressor. We know what she did to Toby. This was not self-defense. This was a volatile woman who was completely unstable and brutally murdered Toby property for really no reason whatsoever.
Anyway, I just so how you're going to protect one resident against another resident who live in the same household together, who are on the lease together? I'm just thinking it's just going to be a difficult thing to prove for the security company, because they too have to worry about stepping over their boundaries when it comes to these residential homes. There are rules there as well. So I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens. All right, let's go now and we're going to listen to some audio from some people that lived in the building about what they said. And they said this to police.
Behind, they're with me. And the black truck. Yeah, they're gonna follow me. They just have food in the car.
Okay, so today is Sunday, 17 of April, 2022. It's 4:45 p.m. And your first name is John?
Paul Salib, O-H-N, P-A-U-L, S-A-L-I-B, last name. S-A-L-I-B for Bob.
Okay. And your date of birth? Okay, what's your phone number? Okay, so I saw that there was a body cam that you were explaining an officer of an incident that happened previous.
Yeah.
So how long ago?
Around a month ago.
About a month ago?
Yeah, maybe, like 3 weeks ago. I came home with my kids and there was blood on the outside of the elevator. Okay. And then they pressed the elevator button and it opened up and there was all this blood. So I went to the concierge and I said, what's going on? And he said a resident punched his girlfriend in the face.
Oh, okay.
The girl at the front desk. And then, like, even before, like, the week before that incident happened, they were, like, parked at that building right there, the low-rise, right next to, like, the highest part there. Yeah. There was a low-rise, and she was, like, trying to climb, like, out of the roof, like, and he was trying to, like, climb over the car to, like, grab her.
Okay.
You could always tell, like, the demeanor, like, of the relationship. Like, you know, like, I don't know.
When you heard about him punching her?
Yeah.
Where did you see the blood?
It was all in the elevator. It was almost as much as when that happened.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad.
Do you live on the same floor?
No, I live.
Okay. But you guys use the same elevator?
Yeah, same elevator. Yeah.
Okay. But did they tell you that it was from...
Can you tell him that he's gonna... Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. No, he just doesn't speak English. Okay, cool. You explained to him in Spanish? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
And did somebody tell you that that blood came from that apartment or?
No.
From that couple?
No.
Oh,
I asked the next day. Everyone talks.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
So somebody told you that next day that it was from them?
Yeah.
Okay, and it was, do you know their names or?
No.
No?
Like, I seen on, like, line. Like, but, like, no.
But it's the same people that you
Yeah, same people.
Okay.
Yeah.
The blonde chick and the other guy?
Yeah.
And so when a week before the incident, you said you saw them down the street?
Yeah, at the low rise, like there, that like orange or yellow building there, and she was in her white Mercedes. I think it's like a C class. Okay. And she was like out of the sunroof, and he was like trying to like grab her like through the car.
Through the car? So he was sitting where, like in the passenger?
He wasn't sitting in the car. She was outside the car.
She was outside?
No, she was going like through the sunroof, and he was like going around, like trying to like grab her at different parts of the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he was outside?
He was outside, yeah.
She was inside,
and the doors, I guess, were like locked because he was trying to open the door, and then I don't know, like why she was doing that, but he kept like trying to climb up and like grab her, and then she would go in.
Was he like yelling at her?
My windows were up, and I
did
just.
It seem like what was? It
was an aggressive man. It wasn't like it was a game of hide and go seek.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay. And that was like what, like 7 days?
To go around, just drive around in a circle. That was like less than a week before it happened.
Okay.
Less than a week.
Okay.
And then the next day after that incident, I was getting mail, and I seen a punch in the windshield.
Oh, you saw punches?
Yeah, there was a hole in the windshield of the car.
Okay.
Yeah. But like, you know, you could always like tell like you could tell like when a girl's like being abused, you know, you could tell her demeanor. Like every time she would walk in with him, she wasn't even allowed to look up. She'd like stare at the floor. And like, I'm not biased. Like, I don't know her, I don't know him. But I've seen situations and you can tell. And when he wasn't around, she's so like happy. Hi, how are you? When he was around, it's like she wasn't allowed to speak. Like you can tell when a girl's being abused. You know, like whatever people say, like it's bullshit. Like you could just read people's like expressions. And you could tell that the girl was fucking in a relationship. He was probably taking all her money from OnlyFans because I guarantee you the guy didn't have a fucking job. Because every single time he got in the elevator, he reeked like weed. He looked fucking high. Like, oh really? Yeah, every time. She did too, but like I'm sure they look like they both were abusing like some sort of substance, whether it's weed or...
Did you ever witness any other incidents besides those?
No, my buddy saw, like, so I'll let him explain, but
okay. No. What's your first name?
We've only been here for like, we live in Toronto. We're only here for like, my kids are here till like doing this month semester. Yeah. And we're here from January 26th to July 26th. Then we go back to Toronto. Okay. So like, you know, like I don't live here like full time.
Yeah. Okay. What's your first name?
You guys are good?
Emmanuel. Emmanuel, and your last name?
Harris.
Perez?
Harris. P-A-R-I-S.
P-A-R-I-S.
2 R's. Like Paris, France, with 2 R's.
And your date of birth? And your phone number? Okay. So
what did I see?
Yeah, what have you seen between the two of them?
So altercation, one was going into the dog park, or I was in the dog park.
Okay.
And
how long before the incident was that?
Maybe 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. First time I met them was in the elevator going up. They came in on the 8th floor, so in the amenities, they looked like they just came from the gym. She was in fitness gear. She smiled and said hi. I said hi back to her. Then he came in the elevator right after that, and it was like just the weirdest kind of vibe between the two of them. Yeah. Not when it was just her. When he entered, he just turned around, and that's when he greeted me. He was looking at the digital display. Okay. And he was just like, "Hey, what's up, dog?" It was just kind of awkward. Anyways, that was that. Then now, whatever. It was probably like.
What was her demeanor that day as soon as he walked in? Because at first,
I'm gonna say partly like annoyed.
Like at first, when she said hi to you, she was different.
She was friendly. Yeah, she was friendly. But then when he came in, it was like she was close. Like she was close. He was like hugging the wall, like looking at the buttons, and the energy I got was like it was like either she was annoyed or she was afraid. There was something going on between the two. Because as soon as I got back to the house, I actually mentioned it to him. I was like, "Yo, I just met this couple in the elevator. Something was off between them." Yeah. So, anyways, now I'm at the dog park with Enzo, and I think they had 2 dogs with them. A white dog, I can't remember the color of the other one. Yeah. But I saw them advancing from Amara, and there was a crowd of people, and I was just looking in that direction, and I noticed her. And you know, she saw me. I smiled and waved, and she didn't like. She just smiled. That was it. Didn't put her hands up. And she got close to the dog park. I thought she was coming in, and that's when he came up from behind her and he put his hands on her like that.
On like the bottom of her arms?
Like triceps.
Okay.
Like just above the elbow.
Yeah.
And then she turned around, and he did the same thing. He held her like that, and he started doing he let her go, and he was doing this in her face, like if he was like pep talking her or something. Yeah. And she was looking at him, and then she.
So he was shaking his hands in front of her face.
Yeah. He was doing that. He was talking to her, and he was doing this. And
was he talking to her like regular or?
He wasn't yelling.
He wasn't yelling.
It was like he was. I could tell like he didn't want anybody else hearing what he was saying. So he's doing this to her, and that's when I kind of like. I was thinking like, okay, if something goes down, there's enough people here that, and originally it was like she was paying attention. A couple seconds later, she did one of these. Like it was almost like, oh, fuck again. Yeah. So I tried watching, but I tried like just minding my own business. So I'm looking at Enzo, looking at them, and then eventually they just walked a few meters like towards the water, and then they walked back, and it looked like they came right back to the building. Yeah. And then. I saw them after whatever happened with their vehicle. Did he tell you about that?
Yeah, he told me about the car.
Did he tell you about the windshield or anything?
Yeah, he saw. Okay, yeah. But did you see it?
I didn't see the windshield. I was I just looked in the car because I was on the passenger side, and she was just looking down. And then, you know, before I even walked to be in front of the car, he was looking at me like that. So I was just like...
That was at the moment that you saw the punch in the windshield?
Yeah, that was... I actually didn't see the punch in the windshield.
No, but I'm saying like when you noticed it, They were in the car?
Yeah, they were in the car.
Oh, she was looking
so
downward?
apparently that event happened over there.
Yeah.
I saw them when they were inside here. We were picking some stuff up from the delivery, like the mail room.
Okay.
So, yeah, I could just, it was just like something was up with them.
Yeah.
When I did see her in the elevator, the one thing I had to say is like, she definitely looked like she was strung out. Like, it looked like both of them, something was going on.
Yeah.
And that's probably the energy that I was feeling.
Okay.
So, like, she looked a bit worse for wear, like, skin-wise and stuff, and then same with him. You know.
Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure, probably didn't know too much, but...
Yeah. No, it's something.
Yeah.
So, even up close, they were like, oh, yeah, they could tell. Even her skin was showing that she was doing a lot of drugs. The trend I see in all of this between like these people that are just end up doing these things and get put in jail for horrible things, they have no self-awareness whatsoever. Why are they okay with doing all this in front of the neighbors? Why are they okay with making, like, wouldn't you be worried about what everybody thinks about you at some point? You know, like when is your, we don't care if you are fighting next door, you know, if you're going to have an argument and yelling back and forth, we don't need to hear what you're yelling about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that thought process. That they just, I guess it's part of the whole narcissist thing where people just think that they're above everybody else and it doesn't matter if anybody hears them, they don't care. They're more important than everybody else. Okay, so that was two neighbors that lived in the same building where this occurred. Let's listen to this neighbor from Texas and what happened over there. This was before they moved to Miami. He lived below them.
Nesvisky says it arrived on his comfortable to look at, angry and chaotic. It's the same way Aiden Nesvisky says it arrived on his balcony.
And it came crashing down, and it was pretty scary. And
Nesvisky says his neighbors threw the painting onto his 10th floor balcony during a violent dispute from their penthouse apartment. Fights were frequent in the nearly 2 years they lived above him.
Behind closed doors, we just started hearing some shouting, yelling. We don't know who was starting what. We didn't get a lot of context. Occasionally we would hear some glasses break and some banging on the walls, floors. Not sure, who was doing it. I just want people to know that it had been going on for a long time and it definitely could have been stopped.
Nesvisky says police were called on the couple multiple times when they lived here at Berkshire Riverview in South Austin. That's why Nesvisky, whose former roommate now keeps the tiger in a storage locker, says he's talking about the tumultuous 2 years he spent living alongside, even attending a music festival with a couple he says otherwise seemed friendly and normal.
It is domestic violence. I mean, if you hear something, see something, say something, you never know, what's going on behind closed doors. It's a really sad situation, and I think ultimately it could have been avoided.
Nesvisky
sorry. Yeah, so even they were arguing and fighting before they even moved to Miami together. They were, I think they were just the type of couple that they just fought all the time. Do you think that there's some relationships that people that fight like that, they think that it's healthy? That it's, oh, yeah, we love each other. We fight like cats and dogs, but we make up like you wouldn't believe. Do you think that that's some people that are okay or believe that their relationship is okay, even though it does that? All right, we're going to get into some of these private conversations that Christian recorded. I finally have these ready for you guys.
Yes, I have a key. It's
When it is 5 a.m.
Decide whether or not you're done gaslighting me.
let you have a great
Decide whether or not you're done
Courtney, I
gaslighting.
am mad that you told me to come.
Decide right now.
Courtney, that's a fucking threat. I asked you so many times that I don't know, and I apologize. But you hit me.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Don't fucking say that.
I need to leave my phone. I need to go home. I need to talk to them. I need my phone. Don't touch me!
What is going on? Like, what are you gonna get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you?
No, Christian.
Like, you're thinking I'm doing it on
Drop your high pitch.
Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose.
You tell Sahara, you know damn well the right thing to do is to tell me.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me f***ing slap you, dumbass.
No, you're not gonna slap me.
Give me my phone.
You have your phone.
I don't have it anymore. Find it and f***ing charge it.
What?
Find it and charge it!
I'm sorry, Courtney.
I don't care. Find it and charge it.
Okay, just stop.
Don't talk to me.
Man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Because I'm telling you I'm sorry.
I was muted. I was muted again, talking while I was muted. Do you guys see a difference in the video now? Her Instagram videos between 2016 when she was like 19 or 20 that we watched earlier. We watched that a couple weeks ago. And now all of her older videos or her latest videos all have her with the tongue thing and shaking the girls and just totally. I think what she would do is she would get on Instagram and she would get everybody riled up and be like, I'm going live in a minute. I'm going live in a minute.
Find my phone and charge it.
I don't know where your phone is.
Find it.
Can you help me find it?
I won!
So why?
Find it!
Why are you screaming, man? Not man, but why?
Yeah, man, little bitch. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a little man, huh? Shut the fuck up. I need to find it because I have to go meet her again.
To go out?
No!
You said she invited you
Christian, just find my goddamn phone.
I don't have your phone. Can you
just find my phone.
Sissy, can you just please?
Shut up!
Just please.
Shut up. You went to go talk to her without talking.
I didn't go to go.
Yes, you did. You always want to fucking asshole.
Courtney, I was on.
He literally told me about it, and now he's like, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yes, son.
I didn't go to talk to Aura. I was going on a bike ride. Like, what the?
Get off of me!
Fuck me going to talk to Aura? Is this gonna make you act like this?
You literally talked to her without telling me!
Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said hi. You and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and come here. Fuck.
You're a
Yes, thank you. Coming from Courtney, thank you.
I want you to get away from me! Get away from me!
Casey, I'm sorry, okay? Just let me apologize.
No!
Okay, you don't need to.
Go find my phone! Go find my phone!
Casey, come on.
Go find my phone!
Do you remember the last place you had it, CC? You remember the last place you had it?
Nope. Find it.
Okay.
I think that video is very damning, and I don't think they can let that video out of court. They can't keep that out of the ears of the jurors. I just don't think so. Even if they play nothing else to hear that video, that's the worst one. Why did he put up with it? That's what I'm saying. Like, why? Why did he? Y'all, it's sad how he just thought she hung the flippin' moon. I don't understand it. I'm trying to see if there's any other. I thought there was one more I had for y'all. Let me see. Do I not have it ready yet? Let me look. We're going to look at crime scene photos. Probably at some point this week, we'll look at crime scene photos. I don't have that other. I thought I did. I guess I don't. I think that's all I have for you guys. What do you think about, this one Instagram video where she is in that gold suit? I'm going to turn the sound off. That one. She's actually recording there prior to doing a shoot with a bunch of other females for OnlyFans. You know what they were doing, right? It's a girl party for OnlyFans. So yeah, it was completely, they were doing flat out porn, you guys. I didn't realize that when I first started watching this. I just could not wrap my brain around the girl that I was watching in 2016. I'm like, no, because she even says in one of her videos that she would never do a nude scene. When she was talking about her video remember when she was talking about the video she did with, I'll have to pull it up and replay it for you guys. When she was in that video with that rapper, she made a comment that, no, I would never do a nude scene. She said that in 2016 or 2017, I think it was. So yeah, to think about what I don't understand his thinking. And I think that some of this also is damning to the fact that why didn't he get away? Like, why didn't he leave? He could have left. She wasn't holding him there. She was telling him to leave. She was trying to get him to leave. That's going to be a problem for the prosecution. That's going to be a part of the prosecution's case. I think that will have the only hiccup in it. I'm not saying it's going to be that big of a hiccup, but it is something that all of us are having a hard time wrapping our head around. Now, Rout made a good point here. He said, these cases have all really opened my eyes up to when it comes to the abuse by women to men. And he said, we have videos everywhere now. And that's true. And I think it's just, it's politically correct now to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. I hate the way our society is about some of this stuff. But yeah, I never knew it was that possible. I never knew that men wouldn't report it because they were ashamed of it. It didn't make if I was a guy, maybe I would have known that. As a woman, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I never thought about it that way. Barbara makes a good point. She says, I will say that I know so many people don't realize an emergency call, the medical paramedics can't go into the help unless the police have secured the scene. And that is a very good point. And something that I noticed when the paramedics were going up they were getting into the elevator. One of the guys stopped. You could tell he was like one of the, like he was one of the more advanced guys. He said he looked at him. One of the paramedics looked at the cop and he goes, "Are there cops up there? Are we good?" And he's like, "Yeah, there are. We're good." So I thought that was interesting. I originally, when I saw that though, I thought, was he saying that for their safety or their protection? Or was he saying that, I guess it's twofold. they have to secure the crime scene. Securing that crime scene was a complete mess. How do you secure a crime scene when it's that bad off? That apartment was wrecked before they got there. That apartment was wrecked before the fight. Patty says that she thinks Christian was emotionally dependent on her, and the prosecution can use that. I guess so. That's sad, but I guess that's the same as if it was a woman towards a man, though. I could see it with a woman towards a man. But honestly, guys, if you just flip the gender around, she made most of the money. I mean, he was her employee. Yeah, he had his own stuff on the side. He could have done his own thing, but he spent a majority of his time doing things for her, working for her, taking care of her business. So I guess, yeah, it makes sense. So I don't know. That's what I have for you guys so far. We're uncovering some of the layers as we go here, just finding the different pieces of this huge puzzle. There's a lot more audio and stuff to go that I've got to put together. I just want to do it in a nice way where we can fold it out and look at it real easily. Now, I may drop some of these as individual videos, some of these audios and things in the next couple of days. So don't get mad and say, I've already watched it. I like to do that as well as when we do, because some people don't like to sit through the live streams. So let me check the chat really quick. Oh, yeah. You guys, don't forget to go over to Laura's channel from Interesting Captures. She's one of our mods here. She is doing some great videos on John Wayne Gacy. Her family knew this man, and she was there around the time all this stuff was happening. She's got some really crazy insight on the case, and she's done some beautifully laid out videos that have just given a lot of homage to the victims and things. So, Laura, put up your link to your channel really quick, if you don't mind, so that they can go over and check you out. Because you're going to have that put one out soon, right? You didn't know they handcuffed him while he was, yes, they handcuffed when the cops first came on scene, the first two, that one that went over there to him, handcuffed him while he was laying there. Maybe he thought he was still a threat. Yes, if you're going into the scene, there's blood everywhere. You can't tell how bad off he is. And maybe because of his size, the cop was like, you know what? I'm going to do this just in case we're trying to deal with this woman. If he stands up and then comes after us, we've got to protect ourselves. There was only 2 cops there. I don't know if I guess that's the way they have to do things. But at some point, then the paramedics came in. They're like, you need to uncuff him so we could try to save his life. So at that point, the cops knew he wasn't a danger to anybody. But right first on scene, they did not know that. But yeah, that was a little crazy. Route Irish wants to know if Courtney ever had a real job. Okay, let's talk about it. Well, in my last video, I pulled up that in Austin, she had a real estate license. She has a LinkedIn profile, and that she worked for Keller Williams Real Estate. I don't think that lasted very long, because what we found out was that in addition to her Instagram, now her Instagram influencer stuff was legit. She had several different, I know Manscaped was one. There was a drink, some kind of energy drink and then also I think some protein stuff for bodybuilders. She had several products that she was making money doing sponsorships for on Instagram. So that was legit. But she also was, while she was in Austin before they moved to Miami, she worked as a stripper at a club in Austin. We found that out recently. I'm trying to think of what else she did. I think that's pretty much it. No, I'm wrong. That's not it. She had tried to start back in 2016, 2017, when she was really into the body lifting, the weightlifting, all of that stuff. She was really, really super into it. she did get her, what do they call that? She was a trainer. She got she became like a licensed trainer. So she tried to start a website where she could help people learn how to train. She was going to do a lot of stuff virtually. And also at one point she mentioned she was going to have a clothing line. However, that never panned out. Let's see. What else? Did we watch that one yet? I think we did watch that one about her clothing line. She was going to do a workout clothing line. But it never came to fruition. Let's see. Okay, good. Laura put her thing up, you guys. So it's interesting dash. Is it underscore though? Or is it slash? Interesting dash captures. I thought it was interesting underscore captures. Okay, good to know. So you guys go look for her video. Go look for her stuff. If you're interested in that Gacy, that is just, it's really crazy. I just want to check on the last couple of comments before we close it out here. Deb, you're behind, honey. We have not done that many videos on this case yet, so you can still go back and catch up. I've got them all under Courtney Taylor Clenney on a playlist. So just go back and catch yourself up on it. It shouldn't take you too long. Oh, and Bama, I wanted to thank you for what you said about, let me show you guys something. Bama made a comment about my video on Richard Merritt. And I did a video a couple of days ago. It's this one right here. One of the worst criminals we have ever covered. I don't know why that case didn't get a whole lot of attention, but this guy was just the biggest manipulator, the biggest piece of crap. I mean, here it is sitting next to a video of Doofus over here, but he really was. Like he was Daryl Brooks on a totally different level. He was a horrible person. So if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it, guys. It's 25 minutes. Well worth it. Trust me. You'll be like, oh my goodness, if you've never heard of the case. Obviously, you guys have gotten the latest update on Brooks being relocated. I'm keeping my ears out to see if anything else is going on with that. Also, Colin Griffiths is due, the teen that unalived his father in Oklahoma and then less than 2 years later unalived his mother in Florida on 2 separate incidents. He is going back into a hearing this week. So I don't know if they're going to air it, but if they do, I definitely want to cover it. That case to me is insane, just because when I saw the body cam that we watched in this last one, I was like, this little son of a gun is just a little smart ass, total smart ass. So yeah. Oh, Route. This is the one where we talk about her previous real estate life right here, this video. And then we also look at her home that she bought in Texas. And this video is the one that we talk about her money, laying out the money that she had that her dad took over and started handling for her right after the death of Christian. So if you guys haven't seen that, go back and watch it. Go look at it. It's so cool. It's just, some of the stuff is just craziness. So I guess that's it for tonight. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you. Yeah, go over there and sub for Laura's channel too, you guys. I did. Thank you, Barbara. I did. I hit 16K subs today. I'm slowly but surely making it on YouTube. Bama said Richard Merritt is a lazy, no for good nut though. No. So he was. All right, you guys. Have a blessed evening. I will talk to you later on in the week. Y'all try not to freeze to death out there. Stay off the roads unless you have to. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.